I didn't give a fuck about the small guy, the kids. I didn't care about the next generation. You know how you play it forward and all that horse shit? Fuck you. I'm on board. Pull up the game plan.
This is Dan Peña. He's the $1 trillion man, the no-filter legend.
I couldn't give a shit less about you. Shut the fuck up. Security, get rid of him.
And the most brutally honest wealth creator on the planet.
No filter, okay? If he is in a bar and there are 17 women in there, he's gonna start at women 1 and ask them, do you wanna go upstairs and fuck? And guess what? There will be women that will say, okay, yes, they do. All you gotta do is ask.
He's built empires, created over $2.4 trillion in value, and mentored millionaires, billionaires, and even oligarchs.
I've created $2.4 trillion with my meatheads.
That's a few shekels.
But my original goal was, I wanted my legacy to be, I wanted to create 1 million millionaires, which is $1 trillion.
And you've done that a long
time ago. So now we're at $2.4 trillion. I didn't even think about the jobs that I was going to create, and we're about a little over 25 million jobs. That's more than Amazon, Walmart. You bundle them all together, they haven't created 25 million jobs. But that was after the fact. After I got rich, after I lost several $100 million myself.
He's here to slap you awake with the raw, unfiltered truth about money, power, and what it really takes to win in business and in life.
But the one bit of advice that he did give me, Dan, it's not what people say about you, it's how you interpret what they say about you.
This is not for the faint of heart. This is Dan Peña, and this is Shapiro TV. Let's go.
Guys, we're back at Shapiro TV, and I actually have the most famous person that I've ever done a podcast with and reacted to his videos. And I will tell you, his videos have helped make this channel what it is, because a lot of the shit that he says is exactly how I feel. And maybe that's why I identify with him. But he has no filter, the one and only Dan Peña. And he came from LA to visit us.
No.
Actually, came from Scotland.
Scotland this time.
Came from Scotland. He hasn't invited us to the castle yet. So
No.
I guess, he doesn't have Jewish people at the castle. But I'm just fucking with him, because I'm definitely going to fuck with him.
I just saw
on
the
podcast.
Pope. I was at the Vatican.
Did he know you were coming to see Shapiro
No.
with a yarmulke?
No, he didn't. But
Come on.
he's just a regular guy. I don't mean to be disrespectful to him, but I was expecting, lightning bolts
Aura?
and stuff. Yeah, well, he has the white stuff that he wears gives him an aura.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was there, it was just 7 weeks ago. The holiness is worn off me. My wife said for about a week, 10 days, I don't know if I was nicer, kinder, whatever the right word to describe, but I felt something, but it's worn off now. I'm back to my old self.
Do they do anything special when you meet him?
No. Well, not me. Now, when Biden goes there, who's a devout Catholic, they do something special. But I was a group of 12, one of which I didn't know, was his buddy since he's 5 years old. He went to grade school, junior high school, college with him. And so he was part of our group. And there was a priest part of our group who went to the Vatican for the seminary, a guy from New Jersey, a real nice guy, Father Michael. And there was 2 or 3 other, I guess, luminaries would be the right word. But I've never gotten up that early to meet anybody. I got up at 4 o'clock to be at the Vatican at 5:30. And so, by the time all the festivities were over, I was one tired puppy. I was tired because I only got about 2 hours sleep, and I need a hell of a lot more than 2 hours sleep. But so I went to Mass, and I got an honor from the church. I got my 3rd knighthood, and that was all great. But there was 500,000 people in the square screaming Catholics. You know how when not the jihad, when that thing that the Muslims do once a year and they go and they pray and there's about 500,000 or 1 million in a square? Well, that's the closest, you know what I'm talking about. And so it was rather interesting to see all these people jammed up. There was probably 15 or 18 or 20,000 priests, probably 5,000 or 6,000 nuns, and they were holy people that had come there. He does this like it was a special day. I can't even remember. I think it was Ascension Day. That he got there and he was very vocal. He went and he kissed babies like they do. And so the priest that was standing next to me, Father Michael, said, "Look, I'm looking up at this wall of cardinals and archbishops." And he says, "Mr. Peña, what do you see up there?" I see 3 things: old, white, fat men in red. And he said, "You hit it right on the head." And they were all guys, around 70 to 80. And they were up there and...
Do they take a vow of celibacy?
Oh, yeah.
They do, like the nuns.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
So the non-Catholics, men can have
Oh,
wives
well,
and
you can, yeah.
have sex.
Yeah, and
As
unfortunately...
long as it's not with little kids.
Well, that's exactly right. And right now, the Catholic Church is and this is one man's opinion, one good recession away from bankruptcy.
Really?
They paid out billions in restitution for all the bad stuff they did, dating back to the 30s. 1936.
Is that public record?
Yeah.
Oh, it's public record.
And the biggest was the Archdiocese of Los Angeles under a guy named Cardinal Mahoney. And it was paid out in 2012, $1.56 billion. And another archbishop took over, a guy named Gomez, and he's been there since 2012 trying to straighten shit out. But I mean, there's been several archdioceses within the United States that have paid out billions.
Here's a question. What's the most difficult thing that you've ever had to endure? That's part one. And during enduring it, what got you through it?
Well, there's 2 different things. While I was building my dynasty, as they say, I had a CFO named Charlie Soliday, and he CPA from Texas, and he did the work of 5 people. And I had to call his wife from England to tell her that he had died. Okay, and so we had people go to her house in Palos Verdes, California, to ostensibly just drop it in for a cup of coffee or a drink, and so they were there to surround her when I told her. That was hard, extremely hard.
Yeah. Death is never easy.
Yeah. Second to that, I had a general manager who was a general manager for just under the board level for my worldwide organization, a guy named Ed. And he decided he wanted to go off on his own. And I said, fine, God bless you, I'll invest money, I'll be your partner. And he borrowed some money in Asia, China, and the Philippines from bad guys. And he missed one payment, and they beat him to death, and then sodomized him, and had sex in every of his mouth, his eyes, after they pulled his eyes out, and they left him.
And these were Asian guys.
Yeah, Filipinos.
They were worse than our modern day mafia.
Yeah, and I had to tell his mother.
That's an impossibility. Yeah.
I still remember going, Ed, you'll do fine. You'll make $1 gazillion or pesos. And then 3 or 4 weeks later, he was mutilated and beaten to death. And all the sexual stuff they did to him was after he was dead.
Crazy. Was it ritualistic? What was the
the case is still open. I mean, you get killed in Manila, I mean, you might as well just forget about it. Nobody's going to chase down the perpetrators.
Wow.
I hear Miami's like that.
Miami used to be like that.
Well, I went out with Meyer Lansky's granddaughter.
I could drive you by Meyer Lansky's house on Miami Beach. Nothing crazy on Chase Avenue, just very low-key house. I mean, today they probably sells for $2 million because everything's overpriced over there, or the prices have just gotten insane. But
I asked you before we started, what do you do?
Yeah, what do I do?
How do you make your shekels?
So I've been in the multifamily business for 42 years. So I've been in the real estate business. We built a lot of things.
Your dad was in the real estate business.
No, my dad was a dentist.
Oh, and your mom?
My mom was a commercial real estate broker. She sold me my first deal in college, and subsequently I bought 6 more deals with her help. And then when I graduated college, I had 58 apartments, and I took a job at a small savings and loan so I would learn the commercial banking side of the business, and I worked there for 18 months. I figured out during my first year that I could buy from their real estate owned department and finance it, because they give you what's called a pen. I don't think they call that today anymore. When you're a loan officer, they gave me a pen. So I could write a loan up to X. I had strict parameters, and as long as I hit those parameters, I could borrow the money myself. I mean, the deal had to qualify, but they owned it. So when I took it off their books, it was like a godsend for them. And grew really rapidly to about 15,000 apartments. And here, this young man got me to react to this Grant Cardone video, and the video
What year would that have
viral
been with
last
Grant?
year. I've only been doing this for how much? 18 months, guys? Yeah, 18 months. And it just was rapid fire from filming it going viral, filming more videos, creating an online university, teaching people how to buy real estate, and then it actually working. And the guy I was actually on the phone with is a guy named Aaron Allen. That's Robert G. Allen's son, who is, we're writing a book, Robert Allen and I, and his son's the ghostwriter. So I was just going through some of the edits of some of the stories. And the video went crazy. He said, "Can you write a course?" I said, "Yeah." I wrote it in the weekend. Then we filmed it the next week. Then we put it up, and we started selling courses. And it's just been a whirlwind in this education space. And we're just building it out, but at the same time, I do my acquisitions. And this year, we'll close by the end of the year our first 2 oil deals. And it's a pretty phenomenal business, especially with the bonus depreciation.
So what side of the oil business? I mean, what vertical within the oil business?
So it's oil and gas.
Yeah.
It's Permian Basin. It's 2 different operators. Direct with the operator. I'm not investing with a syndicator. Straight with the operator. I'm on the intangible and I'm on the working capital, capital side. So I'm getting both sides of it, and it's like a 3-year payback. But I get that big hit, about 85% of the tax savings on the first tranche, and I love it. It's pretty much vertical, horizontal fracking, and I've learned a lot about the business once the water's, once it's fracked and they pump the water out. I forgot what that was called, but that's another stage. Then they cap it and then they start pulling the oil out. We have 1 well, actually 4 in the Permian that are starting to produce in mid-January. And we were able to get in right at the end where they needed some more money for the extraction side of it. And we cut ourselves a really good deal. So, yeah. And it was me, this very, very young, loud kid over here, rough around the edges. He was in the medical marijuana business. He's in the oil business. He was a student of mine. And one day, after he closed his first big deal, the only person in our multifamily program that closed a couple 100-unit deal, I said, "Why don't you pack up and move to Miami?" And he said, I'll be there in a week. And the funny thing about him was, I don't take everybody into this program where I personally mentor them. I turn a lot of people down. I turned him down for 6 months. He called every week, every single week, wasn't speaking to me, begging, "I want to learn from Mark. I want to learn from Mark." But when we started this with smaller assets, our core students, which is 1 to 4 family, we started immediately closing deals. My first student was the first one to close a deal. Her name's Lydia Walker. She's in Denton, Texas. And we've stopped counting after we hit 100 million in closed transactions with the students. And it just keeps on accelerating. And they're all the Robert G. Allen principles of creative financing. And then, they changed all this stuff. They make them sound different. They make it sound better. It's all seller financing based transactions, whether it's a first or a second. And now as you know, history repeats itself. All those loans that created the 2008 financial crisis are all back. No income verification, no doc, 3-month bank statements, 100% financing. So they come into our funnel, we evaluate them. If their credit sucks, we fix it. Once their credit's fixed, then we bill them. We put them in our program. Then within 120 days, we guarantee them a property. If they haven't bought a property in 120 days, we stop charging them, and then we take it upon ourselves to close their deals, get them closed for them. So I have no idea why it's happened. I did, when I started filming with him, I started to see all these fake guys online. You know, they do 20, 30 deals. They're an expert. They're creating a school. I've done 300 plus deals, okay? 5 billion in deals, okay? And not every deal worked out. I took it up the ass on some deals, especially when I did retail. I was never good at retail. And
Retail, you mean like?
Strip center, shopping
Oh,
center.
shopping mall.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
strip center. Okay.
Yeah. I found it to become my passion, Dan. I really am so happy that I can help people, and the stuff that they say, and it gives me in Hebrew it's called kvelling. It's like seeing your son or your daughter score a goal. You're just so proud of these people, and when they come to us, they have no idea
Sure.
how to do anything.
When I met Grant 7-8 years ago, he was not at a dissimilar position when you started, where you started.
Yeah.
And and I said, why don't you have 300,000 units? I think he had 3,000 then,
Yeah.
something like that. And it's not rocket science. It just isn't.
It's actually, this is harder than real estate.
Yeah.
Okay. I have about 9,000 units. I never say that on camera. I never talk about what I have. We barely ever show my life. Okay. I'm trying to get more comfortable with it because that's what these guys are telling me people want to know. And when we talk, I always tell them, well, I own them all. You own 20% of your 12,000 units. So he gets mad at me like that because he's very egotistical and he is very,
Grant.
very insecure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very insecure. You know, like Brand. You know, I always tell him, Grant, is the new jet as big as your dick? That's because my dick's bigger. Okay? And he's like, Mark, why do you say that?
He paid for that jet with a 2% fee that he, off of the $3 or $4 billion that he manages, the 2% he takes off the top. And when I explained that to his team, that fateful day 7-8 years ago, and then I set up the various fees that they could charge. I said, I don't do that, but you can charge all kinds of fees. And then there's transaction fees, and there's management fees, and there's this fee and that fee. I mean, you can draw down a lot of money if you stay away from selling securities, which a lot of them slip into, unfortunately. But there's 5 or 6 of the guys that are doing it like he does, not as big as he is.
He's the best in the space.
Yeah.
He has become an institution, and he is in the process of preparing his company to go public.
Yeah.
That's his exit. That's how he solves all of his misdeeds, by going public.
And having been public of a big company, now the Security Exchange Commission, especially in the United States, and I would assume he's going to go public here in the United States, is so fucking tight that I love to tell the story about Aramco. Aramco is Saudi Arabia, basically. It's the largest oil company in the world. They wanted to go public for 15, 20 years. They could never do it. They tried in Hong Kong. They tried in Amsterdam. They tried in London. The New York Stock Exchange wouldn't talk to them. Amex wouldn't talk to them. So finally, they wind up having to go public in Saudi Arabia, where they're from, where they can make anything happen. Because they wanted to have a $1 trillion valuation. Okay. But to get a $1 trillion valuation, you have to say what your proved producing reserves are and what your proved non-producing reserves are. In other words, how many billions or trillions of barrels do you have under the ground? Now, it takes about $1.41 to get a barrel of oil in Saudi Arabia from under the ground to the surface. $1.41 a barrel.
That's cheap.
Okay, you can scoop it with your hands,
That's cheap.
literally. Okay,
That's cheap.
Okay, in America, the oil producers want oil to stay between $50 and $70 a barrel, and they make money all day long, up to $3 trillion a day. But nobody take them public. So when they went public in Saudi Arabia, they didn't want to show their reserves, because if you knew what I knew, oil would be 5 cents a barrel.
Yeah.
Because they have a gazillion barrels of oil.
But does Venezuela really have more oil than them?
No.
No.
No. But if you look at the production list, Venezuela is number 50 in producing oil, and they're supposedly number 1 in having oil reserves. And part of the reason is they have a discount for corruption, political unrest, et cetera, et cetera. But so Saudi took themselves public, and they've got a market cap of 1 trillion or 1.5 trillion, whatever it is. But I laugh about when I talk about electric cars. When King Saud decides that there's no more oil, we'll have fucking electric cars. I mean, worldwide. Oh, right. Of course, there's not enough lithium for the batteries. The real reason Elon Musk wants to go to Mars is supposedly 40% lithium. I mean, there's a whole. Everybody in the oil business knows these stories for decades. Okay. And when I hear the talking heads on CNN or Fox or whoever, it's because they don't understand the business. But oil and gas business is the last bastion of gunslingers. It's really important. Warren Buffett appointed a new CEO a couple years ago. I happened to be at the shareholders meeting in Berkshire Hathaway when he did it. A Canadian guy, an explorationist, a gunslinger, is now the head of Berkshire Hathaway. Okay? And when they asked him at the meeting, Munger was still alive, he hadn't died yet, God rest his soul, and they asked Warren, will we be able to get the same kind of rapid decision-making that we got out of you and Charlie? And they both kind of chuckled and said, no, but he's going to have to work with the board. Because, well, he's not a kid. He's a kid to Warren because I think he's 60 years old. But, I mean, it's the last bastion of really entrepreneurism in America. And when Trump says drill, baby, drill, he doesn't really understand that you got 50,000 acres. Okay, you got to get planning permission. By the time you say drill, baby, drill, and you actually extract oil, it's 5 to 7 years. 5 to 7 years, and that's if nothing goes wrong. And now that you're in the business, a lot of things can go wrong. Okay.
Yeah. That's why I think it was very attractive to us coming in right before the wells start pumping. That's the most attractive aspect, because it's all de-risked, and we're lucky.
Well,
we're really
most
lucky.
of it's de-risked. You can still have it collapse downstream. You can all kinds of things can go wrong.
Yeah. That's absolutely true.
And that's the challenge of the business. But
all right, I got some tough questions.
absolutely.
Said, are you successful or just loud? Okay, I'm going to answer that. He's successful and he's passionate, but you can tell everybody.
Well,
he has a fucking castle.
yeah. Well, a lot of people have castles, But
you maintain it. They're expensive.
Yeah. The irony of all this is when I started 54 years ago on Wall Street, all I wanted to do was line my pockets with as much money as humanly possible. I didn't give a fuck about the small guy, the kids. I didn't care about the next generation. I didn't, how you play it forward and all that horse shit. Fuck you. I'm on board. Pull up the gangplank.
Yes.
Okay. I wrote the book, Your First 100 Million, okay, 23 years ago, because that's really, back in the 70s and 80s, if you had $100 million in the bank, if you paid taxes after taxes, you were somebody, okay? Now it's probably 500 million or $1 billion, okay? The same equivalent 25 or 30 years later. So
100 million can give you anything you want.
But the point is that since that time, I've created more than 25 million jobs. I didn't give a fuck about creating jobs. That's a happenstance that happened to happen.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I've created $2.4 trillion. $2.4 trillion with my meatheads.
That's a few shekels.
Oh, that's a few. but my original goal was I wanted my legacy to be I wanted to create 1 million millionaires, which is $1 trillion.
And you've done that already.
A long time ago. So now we're at $2.4 trillion. I didn't even think about the jobs that I was going to create, and we're about a little over 25 million jobs. That's more than Amazon, Walmart. You bundle them all together, they haven't created 25 million jobs. But that was after the fact, after I got rich, after I lost several $100 million myself. There's not many of the guys out there that are purported coaches, teachers, whatever you want to call us, that I've lost several $100 million, but I've made several $100 million more than I lost. When I went to Tampa a few days ago, I was there to sign a deal that's valued. This is pre-money valuation, 70 to 115 billion. 70.
That's a B.
Was a B. Well, that's a B,
B.
okay? Now, when I started this 50 years ago, nobody was talking billions, okay? Only in recent years with the internet and with Zuckerberg and those guys that have made gazillions. And there's 2,915 billionaires on the planet right now, okay?
The most ever.
Correct, the most ever.
And the most ever are in the United States.
Yes, that's correct. And we made more in the United States than the top 2 or 3 countries along that genre. Since I started, I've had the privilege of training 6 of the 9 oligarchs of Putin. I just had one of the sons of the oligarch come to my last seminar in November, second generation oligarchs. But I didn't plan any of these. All I wanted to do is put as much money in my fucking pocket as possible. And I liked penthouses in those days and buy as many penthouses. And I had planes, yachts. I went through all that shit, okay? The happiest days of my life were the days I bought the yacht and got rid of it.
Well, that's the 2 happiest days when you buy a boat, right?
Correct.
When you buy a yacht.
Well, yeah.
The day you buy it and the day you get rid of it. Because what is it? It's a hole in the water that you throw money in.
Correct. And so the fact that I'm considered the old man of this industry, more or less, I have had more pleasure the last 10 years since I got involved with the Catholic. I'm a Roman Catholic, but I've got involved. I'm the unappointed apostle of finance to save the Catholic Church from bankruptcy. Okay, that's why I was at the Vatican.
Can you do it?
Absolutely. It's a 7 to 10 year program. And unfortunately, there's 25 dioceses in the United States, Catholics, but each one is a kingdom. So the archbishop or the cardinal that runs the diocese, he's his king of his deal. The Catholic Church from the Vatican gives no money to anybody out. They have 2 laws. You can't leverage or sell any assets in the Catholic Church.
Really?
Can't leverage or hypothecate, they call it.
Right.
Or
everything we do in the securities field is hypothecation.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, and
which can work really, really well. But we saw it when it's going up. What we saw in 2008, all these synthetic securities that they created with all these bad mortgages, all this worthless paper, almost destroyed the banking industry in this country.
And it's likely to happen again.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming.
The young kids today, even though they read things in history, they just repeat it because they think that let's say our generation is archaic. We don't understand, but we do understand. We understand history, we're starting with the Archdiocese of Los Angeles because they're the ones that have paid out the most billions without going bankrupt.
$1.6 billion.
Yeah. Actually, $1.560 billion. And one of my guys met with Cardinal Mahoney this week, actually, who's the guy that allegedly caused the problem, and he paid off in 2012, and he stepped down from active duty in the Catholic Church. But the Catholic Church is, to use a bad word, is fucked. And so far, the reception has been very good. Unfortunately, I'm 80. And so the skeptics say, well, Dan won't last long enough to get it done. But I know I can last long enough to get it started. And so a lot of hard decisions have got to be made. But nobody wants to give up power. And they don't have money to give up anymore. And so it's a real task. But at the same time, I still coach. I was on another famous podcast a couple days ago, and I was asked.
Here?
Yeah.
Patrick?
Patrick, yeah.
Patrick,
Bet David.
DVD.
Yeah.
We're
Okay.
we're
Yeah.
going with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it yesterday or the day before? Either yesterday or the day before I was on a show.
He's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah. I didn't really understand how his format worked. Everybody prepared except me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
and
know-
it's all current. It's all.
I didn't know
And
Dick.
there's what, 4 guys there?
1, 2, with him 4, correct?
Yeah.
There's a guy. Yeah. Well, anyway, there's a guy that's supposedly some sort of professor. There's a young college kid kind of guy, and then there's a guy that he's known for eons that sits to the right of him, and of course there's Patrick, and then myself. And so they're all looking at their cell phones, and I don't carry a cell phone, and I didn't bring my laptop. Nobody gave me any briefing on what the fuck we were going to talk about. And I said, how do I play this game if I don't have the same information everybody? And Patrick, to his credit, in general knowledge, you're going to know most of the things we're going to talk about.
Smart guy.
Nice guy.
And the guy to his right, which is Adam Sornick.
He's a Jewish guy.
Jewish guy. Super smart guy. He's from Miami Beach.
Yeah?
Grew up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know him. We actually did a podcast with him. Good guy.
Okay.
Straight up guy. No bullshit. Smoking hot girlfriend. Like
We was talking about having sex in the backseat of his car.
like filthy hot.
Okay.
You have sex wherever you can.
Yeah, well, they were talking about a mini car.
When it's working, you go.
Yeah, they were talking about a mini car that's becoming
Never did
vogue.
that.
Okay.
Never did that.
Yeah, and I said, well, by your standards, you couldn't buy that car because it doesn't have a back seat. And so they kind of chuckled. But it was interesting. It's a couple hours.
I bet he had some good questions for you.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. I didn't disagree. I disagree with some of the stuff that they said because I gave the example about Aramco, 5 cents a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, we'll have electric cars when King Salad says we're going to have fucking electric cars, not when Elon Musk says. But I also commented, I don't know Elon from a hole in the ground other than what you see on the TV and podcasts. He's going to be considered 50, 100 years from now as the Michelangelo of our time. He's truly a gifted fucker. He really is. He's a smart guy.
He's a super visionary.
Yeah.
Super.
And today, not just podcasters or podsters or whatever they're called, they think 3 to 5 to 10 to 15 years. The Chinese have a 500-year plan. Putin has a 100-year plan. We have a 1/4 plan.
Yes. Yeah. Which is scary to begin with.
And I don't know if it's you've seen it, but there was a thing going viral a couple of days ago. Remember when they blew up the last boat, and the last 2 guys that were in the boat, the Venezuelan guys, that they
I saw it.
Oh, yeah, well, supposedly those 2 guys that were waving a white flag.
That I didn't see.
Okay, well, I saw. Okay, if that is true, there's going to be a lot of people toast. And Hetzek, who I know, not what do you call war, head of the war cabinet now, whatever they call him now.
Secretary of Defense.
Okay, and then the admiral, they said, kill him. And if that white flag thing is for real, there's going to be a lot of heads roll. That's a hard thing to, not take and make it cognizant in the argument. But I think they're going to take the guy out, Venezuelan guy.
Absolutely.
He's gone. He's
Absolutely.
toast. I hear that they're seeking to
we'll take those reserves.
exactly, and it's
Okay?
all about oil.
Now, so the question, we run on fucking oil. This country was built on oil, and it's still going to be built on oil.
Correct.
Okay? And we need it. Everything we do, forget solar and these EV cars, is oil. So,
Directly or indirectly related.
correct. How do you make concrete? With a machine that uses diesel. How do you make steel? You fire it up from natural gas. Okay, it's all oil. It's all based on the oil product. Okay, so it's never going to change. It's not going to change for me in the next 50 years. It's not going to change for you in the next 50 years or them. Yes, there are these electric cars. I don't really like them. They're fast as hell. But I'm a gas guzzler. That's what I like. I like horsepower. I'm an old car guy. I love the old muscle cars.
I like it when they get 6 or 8 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, I actually just had this conversation. I get about 12 in my truck. And I love it. I like that feel. I don't even like the things that, like the governor they put on it where it shuts off. You know, you can turn it
when
off.
you're
I
at a
hate
stop.
that.
Yeah.
I hate that stuff.
Yeah.
I want my car running.
Yeah. I don't have any of those kind of things, but in
Well,
fact,
you have a driver.
Well, I haven't driven in 30 years myself, and my wife says the world is safer because of that I don't drive. But we were talking about college kids. They can't get on the property ladder. Okay. And I listened and I said, well, I don't want to disagree with the panel here, my astute colleagues here. But, you know, when I got out of school, and I couldn't get on the property ladder, I worked 2 jobs. So I could afford to get on the property ladder. When my dad couldn't afford a bigger house and he wanted to move to the San Fernando Valley, he worked security at Sears department store in addition to being a policeman. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can make this happen if you really want it, if you're willing to make the sacrifices. And the current kids today, if it's convenient, okay? And so I can't buy that. And we're talking about cars and these mini cars again. And somehow it came up, well, what was your first car? And I said, well, first car I bought was a Rolls Royce. I was 24 years old. I bought a Silver Cloud because I was selling real estate at the same time I was going to graduate school. And my sales manager, a racist bigot from Tennessee named Kelly Norwood, said, Peña, you should be able to close 100% of the people that walk through the door, but you got to differentiate yourself. You only have 2 times to make a first impression, Peña. 1, when they look at you, 2, when you open your big fucking mouth, okay? And so I bought a Rolls when the other salesman had Continental Town Cars and Cadillac Eldorados. And I've been driving Rolls ever since 1971. And we're a 3 Rolls family. And I don't even know what kind of gas mileage the 3 cars get, but I'm sure it's next to nothing.
It's next to nothing.
Yeah.
They're big, they're heavy, they're beautiful.
Yeah. And but today, the world, you know, I might have said this the first time we met. 1972, MIT wrote a paper that they said Homo sapien will not get through the next century. We're now in the next century. Mm-hmm. So that means we got 75 years left, according to MIT, before Homo sapiens is gone. 4 or 5 years ago, they wrote an update paper to the first paper, and they said we're ahead of schedule.
Really?
Ahead of schedule, so we're not going to be here in 75 years from now. Now, you may, being the intellectual that you are, probably play three-dimensional chess, etc., like I do, is that about 3 or 4 years ago, the biggest IBM computers got together and played the 3 grandmasters that were existing at that time. Mm-hmm. The 3 grandmasters, after a week of chess, won. And the Bill Gates asked the computers, is there anything that you'd like to tell us? And the computer said, don't trust us.
Wow.
We're fucking toast.
Wow.
You're not going to live as long as I've lived. You're not. The chances of you living to 80 are slim and none, and slim left town. How old will you be in 75 years?
96. No, 90. You're 23. 23? So 98. Yeah. They need their phone to add that.
Yeah, well, you need younger
He
guys.
doesn't need his phone to add that. He does.
You need younger guys.
Yeah, guys. We're going to have to man the company. As you see, most of the people that are here are young guys.
Well, and I asked why does this look like a PlayStation outside?
You mean the pinball machine?
Oh, no. Well, in my game room, we have, I would say, archaic machines dating back 50, 60 years, PlayStations and stuff like that. Mm-hmm, we don't allow anybody up there anymore during the seminars because they get drunked up and they think they can jump off the tower and fly. So we've restricted that area. But I mean, and I also said on this other podcast, he doesn't need any advertising from me, is the real money, not the meatheads that listen to you. Because they talked about his demographics are between 75 grand and 225 grand in yearly income. Now, I don't know, he knows those numbers better than I do. So let's just say that's true. 75 to 225.
The other meathead being Grant, our demographic is a much lower barrier of entry demographic.
Okay. Well, mine's much higher, but the point is...
Of course.
Yeah,
of course. What do you charge for a week at the castle?
40 grand.
So,
yeah.
We charge 50 for my phone number, which is really a one-on-one for my phone number.
You charge chicks 50 grand
No.
You give them for free.
I lay the pipe right on my chest, okay? I have a definitely, I actually spent 3 hours preparing for my divorce trial, which is next Thursday, if she doesn't settle by tomorrow.
Now, when you have sex, you take the yarmulke off?
Yeah,
I always wanted to ask
it gets
that.
fucking dirty.
Well, especially depending where you put your head. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I wear the yarmulke normally, or a hat, just because just to remind me God's above me. That's why we wear a yarmulke. It's not a commandment. It's nothing to do. It's just respect.
Well, I used to be in business, in the diamond business, with Hasidic Jews from New York. First time I ever came to Miami back in '72 or '3. Mm-hmm. And we come down here and with the it's called?
Payas.
Yeah. And
Payas,
then the kind of the scarf down the side. And
Tzitzis.
Okay.
Yeah, I usually wear that on the weekends. I don't wear it because then I would tuck it in. But like this young kid over here, he was I want to say he was a sniper in the Israeli army. Big kid, Yaron. My screensaver is another kid who's in team called 6969, and that's the most elite team for the Israelis army. And what it is when a battalion is down, they're the ones that go in and rescue them. So, and this is a kid that has a grandfather that's probably worth $4 or $5 billion. So he's going to be a billionaire, okay? And he just wants to serve his country. But he was born in Israel, so they got 5 years. They have to be in the army for 5 years. And I'm not dating any more Israeli girls because they're fucking brutal. They were all in the army.
What is the Israeli-born girl called? A shiksa is not a Jew. What's an Israeli-born woman called? There's a
Jewish?
No.
In Hebrew?
Yeah, no. Anyway.
We'd have to ask your own.
Okay, but I put one of my mentees, who's a rabbi. Yeah, that's it. Okay, the first rabbi to serve in the kingdom for King Saud is an Israeli-born rabbi, captain in the Israeli Defense Force, who is a graduate of my program twice, and we were thinking about things outside the box. And up until 7 or 8 years ago, there was no rabbi in the kingdom hierarchy of administration. Mm-hmm. He is now, well, he's fighting the war now, but I mean, he went over there and he initially took a lot of shit, as you can well imagine.
Well, some of these rabbis, I actually went to a rabbi that spoke on Wednesday. They're at such a high level of the way they understand all the different books, either the Tanya or the Mishnah or the Gemara or the Kitzur, all these different books that they understand. It blows me away, and I like to think I have a good brain. They're at such a different level, I can't even sometimes comprehend how they understand all this stuff. And they remember the most minute details on things. And it's really, it's inspiring to listen to them. And it's always such a small world between, well, there's only 8 million Jews in the world. And it's such a small world. And here in South Florida, we have the second biggest concentration of Jews to New York, and it's over 1 million. So it's a fair amount. And that includes Israel, the 8 million. So it's not that many.
How many would there be if the Holocaust hadn't happened?
Probably quadruple, probably 100 million, yeah.
And there's still people, as you probably know better than I, that actually a couple are in Congress say the Holocaust didn't happen, which is beyond my comprehension.
Well,
but
it's beyond the comprehension, but also you made a statement, and I have to agree with it, that Hitler might have been the greatest salesman ever. Mm-hmm. Because he convinced people to do things that were so horrid to another human being when everybody knows, there's a God, or most people know there's a God, and that there's actually a normal sense of humanity toward your fellow man, a fellow woman.
Correct.
But the stuff that they did, and he convinced them of that. And
You see those rallies when he's speaking. When I was first started, I copied him. I listened to Churchill. I listened to John Kennedy and Franklin Delano Roosevelt to hone my skills as a public speaker. And there's a picture of him. It was the millionth picture. When the right picture for him for them to publicize his
he was very particular about everything.
Yeah.
You know, he was obviously was a megalomaniac and a sociopath, but some of the greatest minds in the world were sociopaths and megalomaniacs. I mean, you know, I won't say our president is a sociopath, but I'll say he's a megalomaniac because he really does believe that everything he thinks is correct. Now, in my opinion, a lot of the things that he does think are pretty correct. I don't know.
There's a difference between being pretty correct and absolutely correct.
Yeah,
but
nobody's absolutely correct. And that's only my opinion.
I had the same SAT score that allegedly he had, 975 or whatever it was.
Wow.
But they just.
Well, I actually had a pretty high SAT.
Yeah, well, I had a shit one, but but I mean, I suffer from my alligator mouth overloads my hummingbird ass on a daily basis. I mean, daily basis, it just does. I said something about the black girl from Texas who is running for something, Congress or something, Jackson or whatever, on the show the other day. I started to say black asshole, but I said, and then I cut the word black and I said, the crazy. And so they all knew what I was going to say, but I didn't say it. And the hardest thing dealing with the Catholic Church is fuck and cunt are my two favorite words. For me not to use those words, just like you're talking to an archbishop or a cardinal, you know, shooting the shit, you know, let's have a cup of coffee. God, the fucking weather's really hot, isn't it, Cardinal? No, Your Eminence. And so I've really, and Sally says, it's nicer, Dan. You sound nicer. You sound almost human. But I don't want to be human.
Why can't you just be yourself?
Yeah, well, myself isn't
Originality
human.
Today is frowned upon.
Yeah.
Transparency today is frowned upon. And everybody has to be socially correct. Fuck that.
When I had dinner on Sunday with my 84-year-old cousin who's retired in Tampa.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about things, and she said, you've been very successful. We were all wrong, because the only goal they had for me growing up is to keep me alive till I reached the age of reason, okay? And then when I tried to kill my teacher when I was 10, 11 years old, and then she says, when you dropped the aquarium on him.
Yes,
and so,
I remember that story.
Okay, and my wife's sitting there. Somebody was alive. She was alive when I did that, and they thought I was going to go to prison. You know, San Quentin. I was too young to go to San Quentin.
Yes.
But fuck. But some more questions.
All right, here we go.
I'm glad you answered about the yarmulke. Now I know.
Yes.
Okay.
Would a stiff drink or a good
and a good fuck kill most of the kids?
Most people be successful in today's generation.
No.
Why?
Because I come from a generation and an industry, oil and gas. If the boy, and I don't mean boy in the sense like a black, if the boy's not going to have a goddamn drink with me, I don't fucking trust him. That boy, a stiff drink and a good fuck, kill that boy. And they weren't being racist. It was just because you're young. And I was always 20, 30 years younger than everybody else. And there's still people today in the continental United States, mostly in the South, think the same thing. You know, and if you can't just do it on a goddamn handshake, it ain't worth fucking doing, Peña. You Mexican wetback.
You ever get called that?
1,000 million times. I wish I had $1 for every time.
Yeah.
And then when they went to try to
I didn't even know what it meant to be called a kike as a kid. Yeah. I didn't know. Okay? I just thought that was my nickname. You know? And it's funny because it never bothered me. You know, it never actually bothers me when somebody says something derogatory, and you get a lot of those in these videos and these comments, okay? Maybe not so much, but more than, you know, people just like, Mark, you said something great, but why'd you have to swear, okay? Or, you know, why are you wearing, you know, dressed like that? I'm like, well, my grandfather dressed in a suit. It's okay for me too. I like wearing suits. But they say the dumbest things, and they're just, I don't know why, they just want to attack people. And I'll see the same people making the same stupid comments. And I appreciate them because I'm seeing somebody else's point of view. But what happened to actually speaking your mind in a country that has freedom of speech? Now today, you have to be worried. Are you going to hurt someone's feelings? Are you going to go into the right bathroom? Is this gender neutral? I'm like, I don't even fucking understand these prepositions. Him, he, her, shit. I don't get any of this fucking shit, okay? I don't want to get it. I'm 65. My kids are grown. My youngest daughter has a year and a half left of college, okay? And I'm forcing her to come to work here, okay? Because she's not going to go to work for anyone else. And I just sometimes think that if we were just a little tiny bit better to one another, the world could be much better, much easier for people.
Well, I mean, if we were just a tiny bit better, treat other people like you would want them to treat you, we wouldn't have had, 200,000 years of war.
Well, we were raised like that.
Yeah, I mean, and I was raised like that. But commenting on something you said just about 50 seconds ago, my dad, one of the only things, he never gave me any advice, but the one bit of advice that he did give me, Dan, it's not what people say about you, it's how you interpret what they say about you. And so since I'm 7, 8, 9 years old, I had a big mouth, and people would say that, and I was in a neighborhood that was poor white trash to poor Mexican trash, okay? Mm-hmm. And most of my neighbors that were there were illegal aliens from Mexico, and I happened to be, I had a big head for a little kid, and they used to tease me. They said I was an alien, and Are
you?
Well, I might be, but I'm used to it now after 80 years. But I've always thought differently, and some of the deals I've had the privilege of being in part of, and some initiating, have been outside the norm of finance. But I'm positive. I wanted to be a priest as a young kid, and one of the things the Catholic Church, you wanted to be a priest, and I lost my way. I discovered girls. They say I lost my way, but anyway, I discovered girls as a teenager. But the interesting thing about it is that I would have been fucking Pope. There's no question in my military or civilian mind, I would have been Pope. I've been around a lot of very senior Catholic clergy, mm-hmm. Jewish clergy, you name it, mm-hmm. okay? Mm-hmm. And when people say you should not be the smartest guy in the room, that's horseshit. That's for the weak mind. I'm always the smartest guy in the room, and have been since I'm 9 years old.
He's definitely, today, for sure.
Yeah.
My father said, I guarantee your father said something similar to this, that if you're not early, you're late. And my father used to tell me, always show up an hour early. I would always, that's why I'm always early, or I try to be. It's here it can be pretty, like LA, the traffic is brutal. And now with this crazy election in New York, everybody's coming here. They want to just get the hell out of New York.
Well, the guy mayor...
we just got a liberal mayor here.
Yeah, I just heard about it. Some guy, yeah.
Yeah, but everybody else is conservative in the establishment here. So I think she's going to have a very hard time. So, and I think she'll be controlled by a lot of the development money here. And there's a lot of it. So...
Of course, my mentee, Senator Scott, who used to be my lawyer a long time ago, and I sent off, I got to make more money, Dan. I said, you got to leave me. And so I put him in touch with some not hedge fund guys, private equity guys back in those days. And he paid $55 million to be governor, and he paid $75 million to be senator, or vice versa. I'm not sure, but he still got a lot of money. That's not the point. But he got the calling to want to help people. Mm-hmm. I never had that calling. I mean, I didn't want to help myself.
No, forget that, because you're full of shit, because you don't know how many people you help.
I know.
You do now know that everything that you did helped people.
Correct.
Yes, you got compensated for it, which is exactly what we do, but we're helping people, and a lot of it is pushing people from being a fucking pussy. Even, here's the crazy thing. These guys that pay me $50,000 for my phone number can't wipe their fucking ass.
I believe
And
you.
they're all a bunch, not all of them. Some of them are fucking strong businessmen. But the majority of them are a bunch of fucking whiny pussies. So, and not anymore, because now they're getting their deals done, closed, solving whatever issues they have, because I yell at them and they take it. And it reminds me of being the way my dad used to tell me, stuff. I'll tell you a story after, but let me bang through these questions. Do people get married for the wrong reason?
Yes, because they can't get their willy wet. Just it's back to the strong, stiff drink and a good fuck. Well, most of the kids today haven't ever had a good fuck. They wouldn't know a good fuck if it bit them in the balls. Okay? I mean, their sexual prowess is zero. I tell this, not a story. There's allegedly 7 million books on sex. Okay? I'll guarantee that not one of those books is anything like getting a blowjob for real.
Driving in the car.
Yeah, driving the car, convertible.
Best fucking blowjob.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Actually speeding it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right, here's one more. What if somebody spit on your wife? Mm-hmm. You say most people are weak.
Yep.
And don't do anything. Mm-hmm. And don't look at conflict. Why?
Well, they have low self-esteem, no self-confidence. But if that happened to me, I'd be in jail for murder. Because if I couldn't, well, you guys, I snap your neck, I wouldn't even worry about it. But I mean, if I couldn't snap your neck, like
he means it.
Yeah, but like some guy that actually can take care of himself, then I'd pick up a brick, a knife, and I'd beat his brains out. I'd be in jail. I thought that test, we have a test, that's the first or second question, and on our success tests. And when it first came out, we had 91.6% fail rate.
What's the
if somebody, you're walking down the street and somebody spits in your wife's face or your girlfriend's face, what do? And the first answer, A, is I try to ascertain his state of mind for the day.
No,
okay.
You just fucking hit him.
Okay, and number 2.
You get in a fight, you don't wait for somebody to hit you. You just fucking
exactly.
hit him.
But now the failure rate is 98.6. 98.6. And it's beyond my comprehension. And a year ago, almost to the day, I'm in a board meeting in Toronto, and with my young black CEO, a guy named Trey, and we just finished at a Mission restaurant, and so we're walking back to the hotel to have drinks, and he says, "I know a shortcut through here," and so it's an alley, and so there's 3 big black guys standing about 50 meters from us. I'm wearing a $10,000 sable coat. Oh, fuck, I'm gonna get fucked up in my coat. So I go rushing towards them. Okay, guys, are we gonna fight or dance? Oh no, sir, we're stalking you for your autograph. But the rest of my board, just except for Trey.
You must get that a lot.
Yeah, well, I do, but I mean, I was 79 then. I mean, but you picked the wrong guy to fuck with, because I know how to snap your neck. And I mean, 4 of you at a time. I know how to snap your fucking neck. I mean, you don't have a chance. But
guys, he does. That's why I don't give him any shit. Here's another one. Why should we all be selfish? Why does being selfish take us so far?
Because we're not born. We're self-centered. We're the only thing that popped out, unless you were twins or triplets. We're the only thing that popped out between your mom's legs, okay? Mm-hmm. And you're cuddled and nurtured like you're the only thing in the world by that. If it's a normal mom, not a psychopath or something like that. But then it changes. It changes. You either have a brother or a sister, or you have to compete for attention with the neighbors, etc. And they used to say, "Let Johnny play with your toys." And I told my kids, fuck Johnny. His parents should have not had a kid or had enough money so he can have his own fucking toys. And that spreads until we are where we are now. And when push comes to shove, you don't consider yourself worth enough. You don't consider you're important enough to demand you win, because there's no win-win situation. That's horseshit. Win and lose. And we've got a whole society like this now. And Trump and his team are trying to drag it back too slowly. but they're trying to drag it back. But
Well, they're getting a pushback.
yeah, I predicted that we're going to do away with the various programs that they have about diversification, et cetera, and they are pulling them back. Some of the biggest companies in the world are pulling back because, one, they had to push it through, and now we've got somebody in government, and what happens in the United States, you get a cold here, in 6 years or 6 months, it happens in Europe. And it's starting to filter through in Europe. And I hope it filters through before the end of the world in 75 years.
Less than 75.
Less than 75.
Less than 75. Why do you call people cunts?
Because they are.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. What's your biggest takeaway from closing a business deal?
Well, I was asked another, I'm going to answer two questions. One about getting laid, getting your willy wet. And somebody came up on, what's his name program, Patrick, and they said that something about, do you have time for this or would you like this? And mine is your place or mine. And so the little panel, and then the people, I guess, write in, because it's on YouTube, they write in comments, and that's it, it's your place or mine. And does it work? Yes. It still works today. Your place or mine.
Well,
and I used to say, when I was your age, it all starts and ends right here, sweet pea. If you can't suck the chrome off a trailer hitch, I'm not interested in you.
I'm going to try that because I do exactly what you do. I'm becoming a little more relaxed at this age. Want to have one good woman.
Good, you should.
You know. But I guess they call it a roster. And these guys are like, Mark, how do you get these girls? And I'm like, you know what? I just ask them for their fucking number. And you know what?
And some of the older girls will ask you, are you still sexually active? The old timers.
I get women that reach out to me, and they're all looking for a guy, okay? Obviously, I don't really respond to them, but...
I'm involved in about 1,500 or 2,000 elderly homes for elderly, and the women have said, well, you know, Viagra doesn't work for him, but he's got a good tongue. These are women 85 years old.
I love that.
Oh, fucking A, right.
I love that. Viagra works, but now they have a shot. That works for 6 hours.
It's called metalonin or
Something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. But it makes your skin brown. Is that why your skin's brown?
No.
It gives you a tan.
because I'm a Schwarzer.
Schwarzer, okay.
Which means black.
Yeah, I understand.
So, no, I love to go to the beach. I love to tan. So.
Okay, next question.
What's your thoughts on AI?
It's the future, and I'm blessed that I've been in it already 20 years. So these opportunities I'm getting now, it's because I haven't stood in line, but I paid my dues vis-a-vis other projects, and now the and AI in government contracts, state of Florida, AI government contracts, you can, I mean, if you're not a billionaire in 2 or 3 years, it's because it's like if you in Amsterdam, if you can't get laid there, it's because you don't have a dick. Okay. The same thing, if you're not a billionaire in AI.
You can't get laid here, you don't have a dick.
Okay, well, I'm not even though I was born in Florida, I was born in Jacksonville, but I mean, I'm not as familiar, I've never really lived here any length of time. Although, I take that back, I lived in Sarasota, Florida about 25 years ago, and Jerry Springer was my neighbor, God rest his soul, and he would come to the restaurant that a lot of the guys would go at that time, and if they were not 10 years old, they were 15 years old, his girlfriends, which God bless him, you know. But he got caught when he was mayor of Cleveland. He wrote a check to a hooker, a city check.
Okay. That's definitely a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Definitely. Why do you feel sorry for people that read books? Is reading books a form of taking action?
No. Is reading books on sex having sex?
No.
No. No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Oh, that goes with podcasts. That goes with everything. I mean, you find somebody like him, okay, and I don't like to use the word hang. I don't know what that really means. But I mean, you spend time with them. I spent time with Konstantin Gratzos, CEO of Onassis Shipping Line. I spent time with Bunker Hunt of the Hunt family. I spent time with Clayton Ford, who's now CEO and chairman. I spent time with guys, shakers and movers. I spent time. And you're never going to get the same kind of information or the same kind of education reading a book. Books, it's like, although I taught university 1 year for $1, it's people that can't teach or write.
Correct. Absolutely. Couldn't agree with that more. So guys, we're going to do a few reaction videos here with Dan. We're going to react together. I can't wait to see what these videos are that Christian picked, because he definitely picked some videos. Guys, here we go.
Well, that looks like
this
me.
is Dan Peña, no filter, okay? If he is in a bar and there are 17 women in there, he's going to start at woman 1 and ask them, do you want to go upstairs and fuck?
Toilet and fuck.
Toilet and fuck. And guess what? There will be women that will say, okay, yes.
Correct.
They do. All you got to do is ask.
There used to be a bar called the University Club in Manhattan on about 29th and Lex. And from Thursday afternoon, about 3:30 till 2 or 3 in the morning, they'd have a buffet that had, would fill a room like this 5 times with food and stuff. And homeless people are coming in, regular business guys that were operating on a budget. I paid $66 a night for my hotel at the time. And so I would get food and put it in the pockets like this. And then a girl would say, you want to go fuck in the toilet? And so when they wrap your legs around, and I didn't have cellophane, so I have only 2 suits. And so now one of them's fucked up and it's Saturday night, and how am I going to get it cleaned? Okay? But it takes 17 no's to get a yes in sales. I would guarantee you there's not 1% of your guys, even though you train them, ask 17 times and will take 17 no's before they wait for a yes. I did one step further. I never took no for an answer. I would sit at the fucking kitchen table when the sun went down, and I'd see the motherfucking sun go up until they bought. There's people today in the oil business, because I got kids in the oil business, that knew me 30, 40 years ago. We bought from Danny Peña. We never knew then, and we don't know now what we ever bought from him, but he was a selling motherfucker. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Absolutely. That's it. It's that simple. People forget how simple it is to be successful. You got to show up, you got to work hard, and you got to be good at your craft, and you got to ask for the order.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't necessarily good at my craft, but I always asked for the order. And I kept asking kept asking.
Why are you saying you weren't good? Because
no, I was successful. But I mean, I'm a power closer.
Well, that's the byproduct of being good.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
I was a power closer. Oh, by the way, I hear from an email from the Wolf of Wall Street. He's taking public straight line. I don't know what that means, but I just saw it this morning.
What is straight line?
Straight line is his sales technique, okay? Which is kind of, I don't know what it is. But I threw midgets at things, like in the movie. I did that. I threw midgets at a Target and that kind of stuff. I'm not necessarily proud of it, but it's the truth.
Well, the fact that you admit that you're not proud, and there's many things that I can say that, but yeah. Guys, you've had the pleasure, this is the second time with Dan, and I know we're going to do a third podcast.
Good.
So reach out to us, and we'll prepare questions for Dan on the next podcast. But we've had the pleasure of absolutely the #1 guy in the social media space.
Thank you.
Forget all these other guys, okay? This is the guy because he's 150% authentic. And these are the people that you want to learn from, not a bunch of these fucking fake ass lying motherfucking gurus. Let's go, baby.
Amen.
Thank you, Dan.
Amen. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.